Hello! This week's chat is with Luke Leunes, a Charlottetown-based visual artist, graphic designer, sound technician, songwriter, musician, and more. We talked about the many different jobs he's had in the arts and why having a quote-unquote normal job was never his thing.
Art, I want you. Art, you make it pretty hard not to. And my heart is trying hard here to follow you, but I can't always tell if I ought to.
So, Luke, you have done many different types of art. Just in the time that we've known each other, I couldn't even probably put on one hand how many different artistic kinds of jobs that you've had.
Yeah.
How does making art and being creative fit into your life now? This moment?
Now, let's see. I guess it's always there. Just trying to wrap that, because what was my last thing I was paid for doing?
It certainly does not have to be paid.
No, true. I guess that thing. I just, in terms of thinking of the way I reason, the reason I said paid was just, it's usually on my forefront, because I'm usually broke. So
like all artists.
Yeah. Well, with doing sound for audio, film or TV, which is just video now. I kind of fell into that one.
How did you fall into it?
Okay, so it's better to go with a linear path. So yeah, I started as this kid in high school that liked art, and then I saw a thing, an article on a graphic designer and what they made. It was some U.S. Screen printing magazine that my parents subscribed to, and I was like, hey, wait, I can do art, and they'll pay you for it. And I didn't even know really what a graphic designer was till I started reading that article. And then a friend of mine was in the Holland College program, our community college graphics art program, and it kind of just, it was all came to a point of oh, okay, if you want to do art and you want to make money, a living, then there's that route. Or you could just be, the stereotypical, I paint on canvas and I've got all these things and I never made it to New York and no one's buying anything. And I can only sell stuff for $10 a frame. It's so it's and then I saw the figure was what was top tier was graphic designer with 10 years experience was 150,000 US. So I'm yeah, I could go that route. That would be, even if I made half that, I'd be that's great. So then I went into graphic design and I was into screen printing. I forget how that, because we had screen printing. My parents had a factory and part of it was screen printing on leather. And that was, I'm wait, this is the same process you use for t-shirts. And then it kind of all made sense. So, that's kind of how I got involved in the beginning. And also music. I was in a band. So there was that part. So going linear, it would be more as a kid drawing with, trying to, play songs that I'd hear on a piano or a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then, anyway, that's kind of where it all stemmed. So the audio component just kind of stayed in the background while the graphic design or visual took forefront with the monetization aspect to be okay, this is
that
what I'll do as
$150,000 was dangling in front of you the whole time.
Or oh, you'll get a job. Okay, that's great, because I don't know, I just never thought of being an audio engineer. That's also a job, but I didn't know anyone that did that. I didn't know any entryway into that. It just wasn't in my field of vision, except for that Morgan Merritt guy. You remember?
Oh
Yeah. He took a course down in somewhere in Nova Scotia, and that was like. But again, it wasn't like, you know, like I never heard of any company in PEI. Well, there was like Sound Hill Studios or something Hill Studios in PEI, but it just seemed like one of these like it never connected. Like, oh, I could be doing this. It was just like, oh, they're doing
Yeah.
that.
If that was happening on PEI at that point, it was pretty subversive. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like a job that you could.
Yeah, it was a bunch of like maybe professional from some other part of the world doing something, then came to PEI to live and then opened up a studio.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was pretty, how many people that record here could support that industry, because like usually if there's someone already with a studio, they have all the equipment. How are you going to compete with that back then, right? Like,
Mhm.
especially, everything was like, just seemed so expensive, right?
Yep.
So, wasn't, I'm like, I got a pencil and paper. I can start with that. So,
It's all you need, really,
yeah, somewhat.
depending on how far you want to go with it.
True. But, anyway, so the graphic design thing was pretty good. The college was good. I even got like a part-time job at The Guardian, which is like our newspaper here.
Mm.
And yeah, that paid like, what was it, like 15 an hour or something, like back in 97 or 98, something like that, 98, 99. Anyway, it was really good because like I think minimum wage back then was like $8.
Yeah.
So I was like pretty young with that much money. Sharing an apartment with a friend and a girlfriend, and it was like rent for that 2-bedroom apartment was like $350 or $275. It was super cheap in relation to even then, right? Like
Mhm.
it was like, yeah, I think I had like maybe $6,000 saved up by the end of 2 years or something. Like,
Amazing.
I know.
What'd you do with all that money?
I moved to Montreal.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I kind of went through it too, because then I went to Ottawa. But so the whole point of the thing is, how did I get here? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're mostly working in the film industry.
When it happens,
Yeah.
it's pretty. There's like more people involved with it lately. So,
Mhm.
and then kind of my context. It's like I didn't grow with the industry. I'm kind of just side parallel to it. So my contacts are like moved away or retired, and so I don't usually get a call as much because there's a couple more people that'll take it. So oh yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to transition into, which I am, is video games, which
Uh-huh.
to me is an art form. I think video games will surpass movies. I think maybe like 10 years from now, kids will be like looking at a movie like we did when it's like, why don't you read a book? But I can watch the movie.
Right.
So it might go that way. Not that,
Be
it'll be outdated or anything. It'll just be another medium, but it won't be the medium that everyone goes to, I think.
Mhm.
But with the video games, the art of it is like amazing. You can go really simple with it, or you can go like photorealistic.
Mhm.
And then which is when I was making my game, I'm like, this really takes all the skills I have, visual and then audio wise, and then it puts them together.
Mhm.
So, like the game I'm working on right now is it's a guitar simulator, musician simulator, that a mouse that plays a guitar, and you have to eat and sleep and then tune your guitar. If one of those is out of balance, you can't carry on to like get a gig, which gives you money, which it's like what you have to craft to get things so that you can craft things to get more things. It's like
Wow.
it's the
Yeah.
same logic. Like I get that from a Rick and Morty thing when Rick was like looking at Morty's. He's playing Minecraft, and he's like, "Wait, you gotta craft to mine things so that you can mine to craft things. Who made this game?" Like, and then like the next frame, he's addicted to it. There's something about humanity about clicking things, right? Like with the phones. So it's a click-based thing. Pretty casual game. So anyway, I might grow that into like a band manager. So you play each character, you have to keep them at a certain level or else they'll break up the band. So you're going to manage all these mice. Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, so that all comes from art, right? Like it's not about
100%. You're creating something from nothing.
Yeah.
You're using your own experience and know how to do it.
Well, yeah, like for the past 5 years, I think. No, since I think it's like 2018. Yeah, I started dabbling with Blender, which is a 3D program. You can make anything in it. But anyway, that was yeah, so I used that to so in a sketchbook from like 2001, I have like this character, the Black Mouse, because he's just a silhouette of a black mouse, right? Like, and anyway, so he translated into. I'm like, well, what's the simplest thing I can make? And it was like, oh, it's this black mouse character. Okay, so it almost looks like what's that guy called that DJ? Dead Mouse, right? Kind of, it's along the same lines, but anyway, so yeah, so that went from a 2D thing to a 3D sculpture into a video game that you can get pre-built animation. So like he's dancing or he's sleeps. So that's all. You just plug in. There's a couple steps. It's not too hard, but yeah. So now it's animated. I didn't do the animation. Someone else did, but it's all free. Yeah. So yeah, and then mixing it with sound. So like when it gives you cues of like when the guitar's out of tune or when you're hungry, your stomach growls, or when you're sleeping, it's snoring. So yeah, then you get into the whole
like Foley work almost like.
Yeah, so you got like the visual, like yeah, it's pretty much like a whole soundscape, like kind of a movie thing. Yeah, so like yeah, video games can be like all-encompassing skills, right? Like
what I like about what you're doing with video games is that it does seem to be like a kind of a culmination of all of the different skills that you've amassed over the last 15 or whatever.
Well, I wouldn't say master, but have dabbled in. Like I've definitely like got better at post audio. So that was, and you know, YouTube is the learning tool now that I think a lot of people have latched onto. And yeah, I would think like 10 years ago was just starting. Because I remember back in 2005 when it first came out, you know, like the feeling of, oh, I guess that was even like the internet. You're like, oh, I want to know how to do this. And there's no web page for it or there's no video. Yeah. It's just like, okay, we're not there yet.
What do you mean I have to go to the library and look up a book?
Yeah. Well, even if you did, it's like, oh, that book doesn't exist for you here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, yeah. But now, yeah. So like, well, that's kind of how I learned 3D modeling was like a few creators on YouTube had tutorials. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good lesson for people. You know, I think a lot of people are maybe apprehensive about starting to do things like this. They're feeling like maybe they're drawn into to make a certain type of thing, and where do they start? But
yeah,
there's so much free stuff on the internet.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing too is like everyone has their own path. How they get to where they are is like there are no wrong turns, right? It's just how you want to do it. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good soundbite right there.
There might be a lot of turns, though.
Yeah, it might be more turns than you think.
Yeah, exactly. You may never stop turning.
Have you ever had a normal job?
Yeah, not for long. Like, usually how it works is like the disillusionment of, am I going to be doing this for how long again? And then I'm like, oh, like 2 years. I could do this for 2 years. And then like a month goes by. I'm like, I could do this for like maybe another month. Like it just whittles down. It's like watching ice melt. Like, yeah, you're just like, okay. And then it's like melted. I'm like, all right, I'm done.
I think we've actually had this conversation
Oh,
before
yeah.
years ago where you maybe started working at a place,
Hmm.
because you needed money or whatever,
That's
and
usually
you're like,
why.
yeah, I'm working there now. It's it's good. I'll do this and I'll get this money and it'll
Yeah,
be
yeah.
great. And then a couple months later, you're like, no, I don't work there anymore. I'm doing this now.
I
I'm
think
like,
that was the scanning place, which is funny because I'm doing a lot of scanning lately for myself. But yeah, no, I think that was, yeah, and that was kind of like if you're in a job and you're thinking long term, you're like, is the pay going to match your skill set? Like,
mm-hmm,
and then it was like, no, these people will always pay you the same. You can ask for a raise, but they'll never give it to you.
mm-hmm.
So what's the point? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think that you know yourself better because you have been making art in different forms? Or has art shaped your understanding of
Mm,
yourself in the world?
it's kind of funny. Like, I never think of art that way.
Hmm.
Probably, but not consciously. I think what it usually stems is, I need to make something to do a task.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all task driven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's sure there might be some aspects of growth in a way, I guess, but if anything, I think music would be the way I guess that if I was going to say any art form that I've done, it would be music. That would kind of be like that. I was just like going over all the stuff I wrote over the past 20 years,
Mm.
and like I still remember like the first song I ever wrote, I kind of still know it. And then it's not till like probably 6 years later where I wrote the sixth song I ever wrote, and then it was like, oh, it was like I graduated, right? Because it was like I'm not. If I were to, let's say, make it big at the very first song, I would have been like the one hit wonder that always does the one thing, right?
Right.
Where this is like, oh, I have dynamics. I have like more. It's not just like a verse, chorus, verse thing. There's like a verse, chorus, bridge with a second bridge with that goes into a third version of like it's more dynamic than just like, which there's nothing wrong with the other thing, but it's just another tool that you've found, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I can paint with more than just this one style. Like,
Yeah.
here's how all this works, and then that continues on, and then yeah, that was a really fun one. I still have it, and then it wasn't until later, I guess that would have been like 2006, or yeah, that would have been like another growth of that would have been. Um, I don't even name my songs, so I have no. It's really hard to. I just have to play them, but yeah, that one that's the period around Spoon, and I learned off of Gimme Gimme. Uh, oh, what's that song called? It's like the Waiting for You or something. I Summon You.
I summon you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I learned that one, and it was neat. It was like this, like it sounded simpler than it was, and it took me a week to like figure it out. And then once I did, I'm like, oh my god, this is like chords, and you just lift a finger, and that changes that. Like that's what
Right.
I was like. Never had a song to learn like that. Sure, they exist everywhere, but I never, it never came to me that way. And like the yearning to like, no, I got to figure this out. It was like, oh, I got to pass this level like in a video game. Like there's no
Yeah.
way. Like I was like trying everything, and yeah, that was one of the things. Yeah, there was no YouTube tutorials then. You just had to figure it out. I was like, yeah. So then I wrote a song that was kind of utilized that, and now it pops up every now and then where I'm like, oh, I'll take that little tool and put that in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that is that basically basically
Yeah,
the
yeah.
question.
That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it's for a lot of people, I think they do find that through, for example, music, they really
Mm.
have learned to be themselves, or they've
Right.
realized who they are
Mhm.
through through doing it. And
Right.
or like people have said, I know this is what I wanted to do with my life because this is when I feel like myself, is
Okay.
when I play music or that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was getting at. Like,
Yeah.
and I know some artistic fields are more about, you know, kind of pure self-expression than others. Like,
Right.
I feel like songwriting is a very pure form of self-expression, and
Yeah. Yeah.
visual art as well. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well, it's funny because like I think the reason I have a disconnect with that is because to me it was a job. So
so you started with
yeah.
that goal of being paid for it.
Well, sort of the goal of being paid for it, but it was kind of like it's like being paid just to be you, right?
Yeah.
But then you find out, no, they don't want you to be you. They want you to do the job. And then when you do the job,
Crap.
they're like I don't know. It's not they don't even have an idea. Like the clients don't usually have an idea what anything is. So you do something and they're just not happy with it. And it doesn't matter if you're trying to be you or trying to be someone else. Like it really doesn't matter. You're just trying to fulfill a contract. And that I guess that's where like that kind of comes from for me anyway. So
Yeah.
there's no real you in any of it.
Right. Yeah.
But that's when when I got out of it as a career, um, I was like, "Oh, well, now I'll only do it for myself." So I like what I like, and I know what's good, and I'm trying to like give like a top quality. Like for example, yeah, for this record that I'm trying to put out. So I have to do the artwork for it, like CD cover, album cover, whatever it is. Like it's all digital now, but the whole point is
Still
like
need a cover.
you
Yeah.
still need something to represent your album. So it was like bang, and I achieved something that I don't. I kind of like wanted to go in this vein of like Tubular Bells album cover, like that song.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, or like a Pink Floydish kind of thing. Even though I'm not into Pink Floyd, but iconically covered, right? Like they got great covers, so I kind of went along that route, and yeah. So when I fulfilled that, I was like, wow, this is really like, it felt like this is not something I would have thought I would have made.
Mm,
So that could be growth, I guess. I don't know.
100%.
I
Yeah,
guess.
I think that's the
I guess.
definition.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess things that like once I like it and I think it's of a quality that, if you walked by it, you'd be like, oh, this isn't like, it looks like it fits in the store versus
Mm.
like, oh, this is like someone used crayons and no, it's actual crayons. It's not printed crayon. Like nothing wrong with that either, but you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I th-
Well, certainly if I tried to make one, not having the experience that you do,
yeah.
someone would notice.
Maybe, but you never know. Like then there's like Daniel Johnson, right? Like his artwork is amazing.
Mhm.
Like I don't know, you can't I think there's things where you never know like what you'll make. You may
Yep.
think it's not up to par to some level, but maybe it is.
Here's a question. Do you think that the art world has more to gain from technological advances like AI or more to lose?
Well, and technical wise, yeah, always gaining, but uh whether it's AI or not, kind of still out on that. I don't know. Is it the same question of like in 1980, will computers help graphic designers? And
Kinda.
the answer
Yeah.
was yes. So will it keep continuing? Like, yeah, I guess it's like a tool that you get told like this great fantasy, but then what the reality turns into, like we still have yet to see anything. It's pretty early days, so I don't know
Yeah.
about AI, but tools in general, yeah, I'd say they help you either make the art. They never dictate the art, really. So
No, it seems to me that most of what I've seen is that there's more tools to produce the art or get the art to
yeah.
the people.
Well, here's the thought I often have is that back in like 2000, I was like, oh, the internet's going to be great. Like for me, like as a musician or like an artist, now you don't have to move to a big city and make it big.
Mm.
Well, then everyone did it. And then it's like so much information. Who's ever going to find you, right? Like you may as well like,
Yep.
you know, uh, jump in the sea and say, "Hey, come find me."
Yep.
Like yeah, so that it's possible, but I'm surprised. Okay, so I'm surprised that there's not enough musicians or bands being found on their own. That's kind of odd, I feel.
Do you mean like being like discovered
Yeah.
kind of doesn't seem to happen much
Yeah,
anymore?
like, like I guess like for my thing, even though I heard them on the radio, it could have been like Wet Leg. They could have been you could have heard like it would be like, "Oh, I just stumbled upon this band camp," or a friend of mine
Mm.
sent me this email. And that kind of happens every now and then. But I don't think by the time you hear them, I think they've surpassed that grassroots, um, what do you call it? I don't know, promotional, like people
Yeah.
telling word of mouth, right? Like
Right.
it's gone beyond that. Um, Usually, I guess what it's like some sort of management company that does their PR.
Mm-hmm.
That that's still how it goes. So that's kind of annoying. So the tools that we have didn't result in the outcome that I thought would happen. I thought there would definitely be more like a CBGB's kind of vibe to the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
like Bandcamp, what they I don't know, or any of these services, they should just have like a part where it's like kind of like a you need a Wolfman Jack kind of person
Mm.
instead of the Wolfman Jack that's paid by the company that owns them. Like, yeah, and I
Mm-hmm.
kind of do that for myself, like with YouTube
Mm-hmm.
or like songs that I hear on like Radio Paradise or Indie Pop Rocks or Zelstein. It's like, oh, I like that song. I need to find out exactly what it is so I can put it in my YouTube playlist and then
Mm-hmm.
then I have it for my, my own thing.
What's the coolest or most rewarding project you've ever worked on
Oh yeah.
in any artistic
No,
medium?
yeah, working I guess like making oh yeah, the ice sculpture period of my life,
Mm-hmm.
which is like only like once a year for like a weekend or something, usually in Ottawa. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was like all expenses paid. Um, didn't really get to see too much of Ottawa because you're working, and then you had events you had to attend and stuff. So it wasn't like a vacation, but it was nice. It was like nice to get out and meet all these other people, and yeah, that was a fun time. And then movie sets are always fun. Kind of the work can be stress, but I like the environment, right? Like just meeting
The
different
vibes.
people. Yeah, the vibes can be good when it's not like everything's going wrong. That's usually when it's like bad. Everyone knows it's bad. Like you don't have to explain it. It's just not a fun time when things go wrong. Well, like Next TV, that was like what got me into location audio.
Mm.
That was a fun time. That was like who became a friend, a good friend. He started a video production company. And then, yeah, that turned into like 2 or 3 years full time, and yeah, that was those were pretty good days. Yeah, that was definitely liked waking up in the morning to go to that.
Hmm. So You're working on the video game. You're working on new music.
Mm-hmm.
What else is on the horizon for you?
Well, what else can I do? What else can I do?
Yeah,
Oh,
is there anything that you haven't done in regards to like
oh,
anything
there's
creative
lots,
or...
but I guess like one thing I'm dabbling with the idea of making like short films to in the end make a feature film, but I first have to figure out how to make money off it. Because it requires money to do it.
Age-old question.
Right. So you're back to square one. And then the way Canada works, it's like a welfare system with telefilm. So that's usually doesn't help most people out. It's basically you get locked into their ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ecosystem now owns you.
Mm-hmm.
And, like you can say, well, your vision isn't, whatever. And I don't know. There's a lot of things that chip away at you. Like, oh, that you can't, your script should be written more like this, or that, this is how a real script is written. And then it's like, well, you shouldn't cast these people this way. And then union like it's a whole bunch of people. It's like too many chefs in the kitchen. And if you don't get their money, then you're fine. Right? Like you command the ship. It's your project. As a producer, which is where I see my role, is that's great.
Those are all the questions that I have for you today.
All right.
Thank you for coming to speak with me about
thanks.
art.
Yeah, anytime.
I wondered what would be the worth of my words in the world. If I write them and then recite them, are they worth being heard? Just because I like them, does that mean that I should mic them and see what might unfurl? And I think of the significance of my opinions here. Is it significant to be giving them? Does anybody care? Just because I'm into this, does that mean that I should live like it? And really, do I dare? Art, I want you. Art, you make it pretty hard not to. And my heart is trying hard here to follow you, but I can't always tell if I ought to. So I pondered the point of my art in this life. If I make it, will someone take it and think that it's genuine? Would they be glad that I did, 'cause they got something good out of it? Would they leave me